Who hasn't dreamed of driving a machine built to challenge the impossible? Those vehicles that don't care about the cutting cold, don't back down from the snow and keep moving forward, even when everything around freezes? Now just imagine, you in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by a white immensity, counting only on your machine to survive, and it never lets you down. That's the essence of what we're going to see today. But tell me something, do you know which are the rarest and most reliable snow off-road vehicles in history? The ones that can take a beating, that became legends, and to this day, are seen as symbols of durability in the planet's most extreme environments. Then get ready, because today's video is a real journey through the world of machines that challenge the impossible, beat the cold, and earned their place in the Hall of Fame of the most reliable winter vehicles. Ready to meet these legends that slice through snow like it's nothing? Stick with me, because the last one on this list is going to surprise you. Ford F-250 7.3 Power Stroke, from 1999 to 2003. If you've ever heard about toughness, then this truck's name probably rings a bell. Released in the late 1990s, the Ford F-250 with the 7.3 Power Stroke engine became a symbol of durability in the frozen regions of the United States. Built by Ford, this beast was made to handle heavy work in any weather, including the harshest conditions in North America. With the right setup, it can take on snow-covered trails without hesitation. Its heart is a 7.3-liter V8 diesel engine. It puts out around 275 horsepower, with raw strength that feels like it was made to push winter out of the way. Weighing over 3 tons, it stands out just by its looks. This generation became famous for not breaking down, literally. It was common to see these F-250s running with over 400,000 kilometers without ever opening up the engine. The reinforced automatic transmission, combined with four-wheel drive, made it a real rock on wheels. Visually, it's massive, huge, with wide tires and a deep engine sound that echoes through the snow like thunder. When fitted with snow tires and a locking differential, it turns into a tractor with headlights. It was widely used in rural areas, for transporting cargo in frozen zones, and even by rescue teams during winter storms. It wasn't just a pickup truck, it was a survival tool. Today, it's become a kind of living relic among enthusiasts. Some people specifically look for this generation to buy and restore, because it's known as the last F-250 built to last forever. A curious fact is that this version of the 7.3 Power Stroke engine was so reliable that many called it the million-mile engine. With real stories of trucks passing the 1 million-mile mark. That's over 1.6 million kilometers in the US. Impressed? Then get ready, because the next model also became a legend among the ice giants. Dodge Ram 2500 Cummins 5.9-liter from 1994 to 2002. If the Ford F-250 is respected, the Dodge Ram 2500 with the 5.9-liter Cummins engine is truly revered. This machine was born in the 1990s when Dodge decided to go all in and put a truck engine into a pickup. We're talking about a 5.9-liter inline-six diesel engine with power ranging from 200 to 240 horsepower, depending on the year. But what really mattered wasn't just the horsepower, it was the insane torque it delivered, especially at low RPMs. Visually, it already stood out, but what made the Ram so special was its ability to power through deep snow, frozen mud, and slippery terrain with total confidence. Just throw on some studded tires and turn on the four-wheel drive. It became a tank. It was heavily used by construction workers and farmers in areas with harsh winters, especially in the northern US and Canada. This Dodge didn't care about the weather. It ran just fine at minus 30 degrees Celsius without breaking a sweat. And even though it weighed close to 3 tons, it handled surprisingly well on snow, thanks to the front engine weight distribution and smart traction. Cultural impact? Huge. This generation of the Ram became a cult classic. Even today, mechanics and brand fans still say, if you take care of the Cummins, it'll take care of you. In rural parts of Alaska, there are reports of trucks from this generation still being used daily, even after surviving over 30 winters. Enjoying this ride through the world of snow machines? Hit that like button to support the channel, and hold on tight, because the next one comes straight from Japan and is known for absolute reliability. Toyota Land Cruiser 60 Series, 1980s to 1990s. When it comes to reliability in any climate, the Toyota Land Cruiser 60 Series joins the conversation without asking for permission. Built in Japan between 1980 and 1990, this utility vehicle became a symbol of toughness. It was made with one goal in mind: to cross deserts, mountains, jungles, and of course, frozen landscapes. Its most popular engine was a 4.2-liter inline-six, running on either gas or diesel, delivering around 130 to 150 horsepower, depending on the setup. That might sound modest, but it was more than enough to make it a beast off-road. What really stood out was its tough build. Reinforced frame, solid axle suspension, and four-wheel drive with a locking differential. It's like the Land Cruiser was born to cross the Himalayas without breaking a sweat. Visually, it has that classic utility style. Straight lines, big windows, and a strong presence. On snow, it looks like an elegant war tank. It was widely used by scientific expeditions, NGOs in remote areas, and also by people living in cold regions around the world like Mongolia, Iceland, and northern Canada. Legacy? No question about it. It's one of the few vehicles still running strong after 4 decades, with barely any engine replacements. A living legend of Japanese engineering. Here's a fun fact. There are reports of the series still being used in Antarctica, serving as support transport for researchers. And if you thought the Land Cruiser was reliable, just wait until you see the American Giant coming up next. Chevrolet K5 Blazer, 1973s to 1991s. Think of an SUV with the spirit of a pickup, off-road soul, and tons of charm. That's the Chevrolet K5 Blazer, launched in the US in the 1970s and built until the early 1990s. Under its wide and rugged body, the K5 packed engines like the 5.7-liter V8, putting out around 200 horsepower, more than enough to smoothly move its nearly 2.5 tons, even across frozen terrain. It was loved by hunters, explorers, and adventurers in cold regions, especially in Canada and the northern US states. The four-wheel drive and lifted suspension made it a perfect choice for crossing snow-covered forests, slippery trails, and areas where most cars would just get stuck. Beyond the power, it had an unmistakable look: boxy front end, wide fenders, and that removable top in the back. A favorite for those who wanted to feel the cold wind on their face or haul more gear in the winter. Its legacy is so strong that many modern SUVs still draw inspiration from the K5's design and stance. In off-road communities, it's seen as one of the most versatile vehicles ever made. Today, many collectors restore these models and even modify them with snow tracks or chains. At 4x4 shows and meetups, the K5 Blazer always stands out, often accompanied by wild rescue stories from the middle of snowstorms. And if this one already shows the power of classic design, the next model took the idea of a compact off-road vehicle to another level, with a touch of boldness. Jeep CJ7, 1976s to 1986s. The Jeep CJ7 is the kind of machine that carries a wartime legacy, but adapted perfectly to the peaceful cold of frozen environments. Launched in the United States in 1976, it represented the evolution of the legendary military Jeep, with a more civilized touch, but without losing its toughness. Equipped with various engines over the years, the most popular was the 4.2-liter inline-six, which delivered around 112 horsepower. That may sound low, but the magic was in its lightweight build and four-wheel drive with low range, which allowed the CJ7 to tackle icy climbs and snow-covered trails with impressive ease. Weighing just over 1.5 tons, it was agile, light, and extremely easy to maneuver, even in tight spots, like between snow-covered trees or along frozen lake shores. It was the kind of vehicle that felt made for exploring winter slowly, with style and confidence. Visually, it had real charm: flat hood, high fenders, simple and clean body, a timeless look that still influences the Wrangler line today. With snow tires and chains, it turned into a mountain goat on ice. It was widely used by patrol services in national parks during winter, by farmers, and also by adventurers who wanted something light, tough, and easy to fix. After all, everything in the CJ7 was mechanical and straightforward. No electronics, no frills, no chance of failure. In mountainous regions like Colorado and Utah, it's common to see restored CJ7s still going strong through the winter. Many owners say it has soul because it's easy to understand and extremely loyal to those who take care of it. And if the CJ7 is already iconic, The next machine is one of the most unusual on the list. Small, light, and surprisingly effective in the snow. Subaru Brat 4-wheel drive, 1978s to 1987s. If there's one car no one expected to see conquering snow-covered trails, it's the Subaru Brat. Born from the mix of Japanese boldness and American demand for a versatile vehicle, the Brat was launched in the late 1970s and quickly carved out its own niche among adventurers. The name Brat stands for Bi-Drive Recreational All-Terrain Transporter. But forget the acronym. What really mattered was what it could actually do. Cross frozen terrain with a lightness that surprised even the most experienced drivers. Its most common engine was a 1.8-liter four-cylinder, with fuel injection in the newer versions, producing around 75 to 90 horsepower depending on the year. And even with that modest power, it got the job done thanks to its low weight, just over 900 kilograms, and four-wheel drive that could be engaged manually. Visually, it was one of a kind. Part pickup, part coupe, with two rear-facing seats in the bed. Yes, you read that right. It was like a rally car mixed with a snow toy. Perfect for carrying light gear, boards, sleds, or even snowboards. It was widely used by young adventurers, mountain workers, and even patrollers in areas where bigger vehicles struggled. Its mechanical simplicity, low fuel consumption, and resistance to cold made it a wild card in the mountains. Today, it's a cult car. There are meetups in the US dedicated just to the Brat, with fans restoring models that survived decades of extreme conditions. Many owners say the Brat always got the job done, even when no one believed it could. And if this was the snow's reliable underdog, the next one is one of the most respected names in American off-road history. International Harvester Scout II, 1971s to 1980s. Before SUVs became mall cruisers, they were tools for hard work. And among the most respected of that era is the International Harvester Scout II, a true warrior of frozen terrain that held strong throughout the 1970s and into the 1980s. Built in the United States, the Scout II came with several engine options, but the most reliable and well-known was the 5.0-liter V8, producing around 150 horsepower. Most importantly, it was a simple engine, easy to maintain, with enough torque to push its over 2-ton weight through thick snow. Visually, it commanded respect. Straight lines, a tough stance, short and muscular body. It was the kind of vehicle you could look at and immediately tell it was built for work. Equipped with four-wheel drive, low-range gears, and proper tires, it turned into a true pack mule in areas where most vehicles couldn't even get started. It was widely used by farmers, forest services, and also by patrol and trail maintenance teams in the Rocky Mountains and other remote access zones. It was cold-proof, easy to fix, and had a loyal fan base. Even though it was discontinued in the early 1980s, many Scout IIs are still running, and running well, in the mountainous regions of the US. Some owners say they'd choose it over any modern SUV, precisely because of its durability and the real sense of control it gives. And if you've made it this far, it's because you love snow engineering as much as we do. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Now, things are about to level up. If we've seen reliable machines so far, what's coming next are vehicles built specifically for snow. Get ready to enter the land of legends. Bombardier B12 Snow Bus, 1947s to 1960s. Imagine it's the 1950s in a Canadian town, and you need to cross frozen forests to get to a hospital, school, or train station. The one doing that job was the legendary Bombardier B12 Snow Bus, one of the most iconic and reliable snow vehicles in history. Created by Joseph Armand Bombardier in Canada, the B12 was specifically designed to handle the Canadian winter, where roads would simply disappear under snow for months at a time. And it didn't just handle it, it conquered it. Powered by a 3.9-liter V8 engine with about 90 horsepower, the B12 might have seemed modest at first glance, but its secret was in the wide rear tracks made to float over snow and the front skis that glided like a sled. Weighing around 2.5 tons, it was quiet, stable, and extremely comfortable for its passengers. With room for up to 12 people, the Bombardier B12 transported doctors, teachers, students, workers, and even supplies between isolated villages in winter. Its look was unmistakable: rounded body, large windows, and a design that mixed school bus with retro spaceship. And best of all, it didn't stop. Not for snowstorms, not for minus 20 degrees. Many of these models have survived to this day, restored by collectors and showcased in museums and historic events. In some small towns across rural Canada, the Bombardier B12 is fondly remembered as the vehicle that kept communities alive during the harshest cold. Now, hold on tight, because the #1 spot on this list belongs to an absolute legend, the machine that became a symbol of great ice expeditions. Tucker Snowcat 443 and 544, 1950s to 1990s. There's no more iconic machine when it comes to off-road, on ice, than the Tucker Snowcat. Born in the United States in the 1950s, it was built with one mission in mind: to conquer the impossible. The 443 and 544 models from Tucker were used in some of the boldest expeditions in history, including full crossings of Antarctica. And for good reason. This machine was designed to never stop. Its engine ranged between 5.2-liter and 5.9-liter V8 versions, with an average output of 130 to 150 horsepower, enough to move its more than 3.5 tons with calm, control, and confidence. What made the Snowcat stand out was its traction system, with 4 independent tracks mounted on rotating modules. This allowed it to climb icy hills, cross frozen valleys, and navigate terrain where any other vehicle would simply sink. Visually, it was a piece of functional art: tough body, tall windows, heated cabin, and a look that combined industrial design with extreme purpose. When it moves, the sound of the tracks crushing the ice is almost hypnotic. It feels like the machine is talking to the environment. It was used by the military, scientists, explorers, and communication maintenance teams in places where everything froze, except for it. Even today, some units are still operating in remote stations, while others are part of private collections, treated as true relics. Interestingly, many of these Snowcats have been kept running with original parts for decades. And even now, if you're deep in the snow and spot an old Tucker on the trail, one thing's for sure: it's still running. Today, we took a trip through a true collection of legends: pickups, utility vehicles, buses, and even Arctic explorers. Each of these machines proved that reliability isn't just about horsepower, but about the courage to face the impossible and make it back in one piece. These aren't just vehicles, they're survival tools, connections between people, and symbols of human perseverance in places where winter rules everything. They're machines that made it possible to live, work, and even have fun where most people wouldn't even dare to step. Now tell me, which one of these machines would you have the courage to drive? And which one gave you chills just hearing about what it went through? If you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell, because every week there's a new video about the most incredible machines that conquer ice, snow, and extreme conditions. See you in the next video.